Hello? Hey, Chuck, what's going on, buddy? Nah, man, not much. Just here at the state fair with the state officer team. What's going on, man? What? No. No. Dude, you can't be telling me this, man. This can't be happening. September 25th, 2010, the day that opened my eyes forever. All right, baby, here we go. This is the best day of my life. Got the truck all loaded down, got a full tank of gas, and nothing but open road ahead of me. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of my life as a Texas Tech Red Raider. The summer of my life was coming to an end. And what better way to cap it off than to be headed off to a college that I've had my heart set on for years. I was putting my last few things in my superhero backpack, which if y'all know me, you know I don't go anywhere without, when my little brother Colin walked in and came to the foot of my bed. I looked at him, gave him a kind of bittersweet smile. You see, me and Colin are tight. We like the same stuff, we think the same way, we eat the same, heck, we even look the same. And if y'all know he looks like me, he must be a pretty good-looking guy. What's up, buddy? I said to him as I zipped up my backpack, threw it next to the rest of my stuff. See, me and Colin have gone through a whole lot this year. He looked at me and he said, "So you're all packed and ready to go, huh?" My eyes lit up at that statement. I'd been ready to get out of Eagle Pass since I moved there. So of course I excitedly yelled, "Oh yeah, I can't wait. Pretty awesome, huh?" Colin kind of just buried his head in his chest. See, this hit me really hard as I remembered exactly how I felt when my older sister Danny left to college a few years before. I remember the emptiness I felt inside without her there, and that's something I didn't want Colin to have to feel. So I slugged him in the arm and said, "How's about you come eat lunch with your big brother one more time?" His eyes lit up and he excitedly yelled, "Let's do it!" So we hopped in my truck, rolled down the streets of Eagle Pass, Texas to our favorite restaurant and my former place of employment, Chili's. We sat down at our favorite table, ordered our favorite meals, and had an amazing conversation. Well, at least I hope we did. You see, I was way too wrapped up in what was going to happen tomorrow and how awesome it was going to be to leave that I couldn't even tell you one word that me and Colin spoke that day. Now that I go back and look at it, all the times that me and Colin hung out or talked, I couldn't recall much of anything. Here I was, thinking that me and Colin were the best of friends, when really, I missed half of his life. Talk about a reality check. All too often in life, people are way too caught up in what's going to happen tomorrow that they don't appreciate today for what it is. Nothing was more important to Colin at that moment than being with his big brother. And I took that moment for granted. That's something that I've promised myself and Colin that I'd never do again. It's time that we wake up, Texas FFA. Wake up and live for the moment. Live now. But, you know, life went on. I went to college, and I was having the time of my life, living free without a care, just like any other college student would, until one day I found myself cleaning out my pockets of my FFA jacket to take it to the cleaners. Man, I found yarn and paper clips and a bunch of other stuff, and I'm pretty sure at one point in time I even saw a pigeon fly out of my jacket. As I looked down at the pile of trinkets that came out of my jacket, a folded piece of paper seemed to catch my eye. And something just told me to pick it up. I unfolded it and found writing on the inside. Right away, I knew exactly what it was. It was a letter that an FFA member from the Veterans Memorial FFA chapter named Megan Garrett had written me right after last year's convention. I remember seeing it and thinking it was pretty cool, so I printed it off of Facebook, folded it up, and put it in my pocket. Never to see it again. I sat down on my bed, and I read Megan's words. They said, "Patrick Byrne, what can I say? You're the most outstanding, fun, and swag-tastic person I know and will ever meet. Your leadership is outstanding, your speeches are amazing, your presence is everlasting, and your looks kill. You might not have gotten president sewn on your national blue jacket in bright corn gold, but you will always be the leader of the wolf pack in my book. Texas FFA loves you, Area 10 loves you, the Rio Grande Valley District loves you, and the Veterans Memorial FFA chapter loves you. I know y'all will make a difference this year, but you will accomplish the most. One day, I wish to be just like you." Megan Garrett from the Veterans Memorial FFA chapter. At that moment, I had realized that I had never really read this letter before. All I'd ever done was simply look at her words. I read it over and over again. And as I did, different things began to hit me, and I began to think. I began to think. How much time and heart Megan must have put into writing this letter, and how easily I overlooked it. It didn't matter how full my mind was the first time I read it. That's no excuse for overlooking it that bad. She put a lot into it, and I couldn't even be courteous enough to pay attention to her words. How often in life do we do this to people around us? How often do we overlook those little things in life? Can you all answer that question for yourselves? I know that I couldn't, but now I can. And thanks to Megan, I have her letter with me at all times to remind me that we need to live for the moment. We need to live consciously. Wow. What was I doing with my life before I came to this reality? How did I ever live with myself? How many other people did I hurt by being so blind? These are among the millions of questions that seem to consume my each and every single thought in the days after I came to this reality. But the number one question that still bothers me to this day is, what would have happened had that drastic moment that opened my eyes forever never happened? Although that was the worst day of my life, it was the wake-up call that I needed to pull my head out of my behind and appreciate life for what it is. It was around 9 p.m. and kind of rainy in Eagle Pass, Texas, on September 25th, 2010, when my good friend, former chapter officer teammate, Stephen Dickerson, was riding his motorcycle to his house just outside of town. He turned onto a farm to market road that led to his house, which he had driven thousands of times before. But this time, something happened. As he rounded a curve, a steer appeared in front of him. There was not enough reaction time for Stephen to prevent what was about to happen. Stephen collided with this steer, was flung violently off of his motorcycle and onto the road. I don't know how long Stephen laid there before help arrived. But when it finally did, it was much too late. I didn't know what to think when I got that call. My mind was blank and running wild all at the same time. I didn't know how to act or what to say. All that I knew was that I needed to go home. I told our officer coach what had happened and that I had to leave the state fair right away to be with my friends and family in Eagle Pass. With a firm pat on the shoulder and a nod of the head from him, I was gone. It was the quickest 7-hour drive of my life. I had so many different emotions and thoughts running through my head that it seemed like 10 minutes in my mind. When I finally did arrive home, people were in much worse shape than I thought. I went straight to the ag shop of my old high school, where I met my advisor, Mr. Cardenas, with a long embrace. He thanked me for coming so soon and just looked me in the eye with this look that I had never seen before. You see, I've always looked up to Mr. Cardenas as a strong, stern figure who always knows the right things to do. And to see him in the state that he was, to see him like that, just sent chills down my spine and put me in a mood that I've never felt before. He told me everything that had happened, and he said that we had to stay strong for Stephen's family and for the other students. I was barely holding my own self together at this point in time. I had no idea how I was going to be strong for anybody else, but I knew that was what I had to do for Stephen. It was an honor when Stephen's family asked me to be one of the pallbearers for his funeral. I saw it as one more walk with my good friend. The day that we laid Stephen to rest was an incredibly emotional and hard day for me, as it was for everyone else. I remember standing and watching as they lowered Stephen's casket, just thinking about everything that we'd ever gone through, saying my final farewell to my old buddy. I turned away from there, tears running down my face, and I made my way over to his family to give them a hug and my respects. When I got to his mother, she said something to me that at the time I just did not understand, but now it means the world and more to me. She looked me dead in the eye. She said, "Slow down, Patrick. Just slow down. Slow down." It took me a while, but now I understand exactly what Stephen's mother meant. She meant that life is one of those things you don't get two chances at. So it is our job to absorb each and every single moment of each and every single day and live it to its fullest. Life is short, sometimes much shorter than we expect. It is our job to make it a great life for everything it's worth. Finally, everything hit me. Overlooking Colin, Megan's letter, and many other things that I regret. I was finally awake to everything in life that I'd been missing. But to gain this perspective, it took me losing a loved one and being in my lowest of lows to realize that we need to live now and we need to live consciously. But it should not take that much. It shouldn't take missing half of your little brother's life. It shouldn't take overlooking a beautiful letter that somebody writes you. And it shouldn't take losing a loved one. No. Don't be like me. Maybe it's time to change. In the words of the late poet and philosopher Tupac Shakur, it's time for us, the people, to start making some changes. Let's change the way we think. Let's change the way we live. And let's change the way we treat each other. We see the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we got to do to survive. And Texas FFA, that change starts with you. All too often in life, we sit around and we wait. We wait for some kind of drastic moment to happen before we get up and we turn around. Don't do that. Don't make the same mistakes I did when each and every single day you can get up. You can make that impact. You can be that change.